So in this section, we're going to talk about classifying numbers. And first, we're going to introduce you to the natural numbers. And these actually were the first set of numbers that you ever encountered as a child, because these are our counting numbers. So, as you can imagine, these are the numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on. Those are called the natural numbers. Now, when you take the natural numbers and add 0 to them, these are the whole numbers. Natural numbers plus the numbers 0. So those are the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And as you can see, the natural numbers are part of the whole numbers. So all whole numbers include the natural numbers. Now the integers include the whole numbers, but they also include their opposites. So you're going to have the negatives of the whole numbers, and we call those the integers. Whole numbers then are part of the integers, and natural numbers are also part of the integers. Integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers are part of a set called the rational numbers, and these are numbers that can be written as the ratio of two integers, a and b. So any number that we can write as a fraction with a numerator that's an integer and a denominator that's an integer, but we cannot have the denominator be 0, that is a rational number. So therefore, the rational numbers include the integers, the whole numbers, and the natural numbers, but they also include fractions such as 1/4 or -2/3. These are also rational numbers. So in terms of decimals, you know that 1/4 is also 0.25. So we say that terminating decimals are rational, and -2/3 is a repeating decimal. And so repeating decimals, all repeating decimals are rational numbers. So what does that leave us? Well, that leaves us with a set of numbers called the irrational numbers. And these are the non-repeating and non-terminating decimals. So some numbers that are rationals that you may know are numbers such as, well, square roots of not perfect squares, like square root of 2 or square root of 3. Square root of 4 is rational because that's the number 2. And then pi is also irrational. So you may have met irrationals and just not known that they were there. Okay, now we're going to classify these. So 15/3, we can tell that that's definitely a rational number because it's a ratio of 15 and 3, which are integers. We can also simplify 15/3 and get 5. So that means that this is also a natural number, part of our counting numbers, which means that it's part of the whole numbers and also part of the integers. So 15/3 is all 4 of those classifications. Now let's look at -4. And this is the opposite of the whole number 4, so it's an integer. But if we write it also as -4/1, we have a ratio of integers, so -4 is also rational. The number 0, we know that that's a whole number, and we know that it's also an integer. And because we can write it as the ratio of 0 divided by 2, or 0 divided by any number except 0, then we know that 0 is also rational. And -8/3, well, that's the ratio of two integers, -8 and +3. So therefore it is a rational number. However, this is not one that we can reduce to an integer. So rational numbers is classification.